Let's go, man. Let's go. The Chicago Bears are back in this thing. We're back in the playoff race. Our season has been revived after Mitch Trubisky, Dave Montgomery, and the Chicago Bears somehow beat the Minnesota Vikings in a shootout by the score of 33-27 to keep our season alive. What is up, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears weekly post-game reaction videos. I hope all of you are doing well, enjoying the day, enjoying the dub, going out there and celebrating with your family, friends, maybe having a beer or something tonight, maybe dancing in your living room or something like I did the past 20 minutes because god damn, man, after 6 straight losses, I cannot believe the Bears now, after winning back-to-back games, putting up insane amount of points as well, are now in, we're back in the playoff race, okay? I'm recording this at 3:30 p.m. right now, so the Eagles and Cardinals game is not ended. By the time that game ends, we might actually be in a playoff spot today, okay? We might be in the 7th seed because we just need the Cardinals to lose at least one of the remaining 3 games, okay? Because they're ahead of us in the standings right now. So if we're tied at 7-7 by the end of today, the tiebreaker does go to us based on, I forgot what it's based on. I think it's NFC record, but we would most definitely be in that 7th spot today. So fingers crossed, man, that happens. Fly, Eagles, fly. I mean, I'll be the biggest Eagles fan today. But screw the Eagles right now. I'm not here to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm here to talk to you guys about the resurgent Chicago Bears, who, after losing 6 straight games, are somehow back in the playoff race with back-to-back victories against the Texans and now the Minnesota Vikings, okay? And not only that, guys, I have no idea how I'm saying this, but somehow the Bears offense has completely turned it around in every single aspect, okay? The offensive line has all of a sudden become amazing, okay? Maybe not amazing, it's still not the best of the best, but today it seemed like it was a top 10 unit, okay? Sam Mustipher in there, Alex Bars, I mean, the tackles also somehow played pretty decently, okay? Today was a very good day from our offensive line. If you look at our running backs, okay? David Montgomery went berserk today. He had He had 146 rushing yards total, and he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. He was just impossible to bring down to the ground. We had our quarterback play being stellar for the most part, besides that one interception at the end, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But besides that one interception, man, Trubisky played a damn good game. We had great play calling this entire game. I mean, Bill Lazor took advantage of our quarterback's strengths, okay? His mobility was on full display the entire afternoon. We had him, running outside the pocket. We had him running, for some first downs. We had Trubisky using his legs in every single way possible, which should have been the game plan from the very beginning. But finally, I guess they are figuring that out. So the play calling was tremendous. And overall, guys, we only punted the ball 1 time on the very first drive. Besides that one drive, we didn't punt the ball at all, which that is just so ridiculous to think about, okay? Because just a couple weeks ago, against the very same team, we put up 150 total yards of offense the entire night. But today, with a different quarterback in here, with changes on the offensive line, with David Montgomery back, we put up 150 total yards of offense in the very first quarter, okay? Today, overall, we had almost 400 yards in this game. We had 397 yards. We had 198 through the air. We had 199 through the ground. And obviously, we put up 33 points. That makes it back-to-back games now in which our offense, what was supposedly the worst offense in the NFL just a few weeks ago, that makes it 3 games in a row in which we scored more than 30 points. I have not seen that from the Chicago Bears in a very long time. I can't even remember the last time. Did we ever have a stretch in the Matt Nagy era in which we put up 30-plus points 3 games in a row? I don't think we did, okay? Because even in 2018, when we did score a decent amount of points, I don't think we had 3 games in a row where we put up more than 30 points. So this is just uncharted territory for the Chicago Bears. And I know that a lot of people in the comments are going to say, oh, you played some bad defenses, okay? You played the Lions, you played the Texans the last week, you played the Vikings this week. None of them are great defenses. Well, I got to fact check you guys, okay? The Vikings were the number 12 defense based on DVOA before this game, which is a much better stat to use to measure defenses than just yards or points given up, because DVOA measures what the quality is of the yards you're giving up. So based on that stat and based on other stats too, I mean, the Vikings were a pretty decent defense this year, okay? Obviously, they're not best of the best. They're not even a good defense, but they were a pretty mediocre defense for a good portion of the season. And to put up 30-plus points on a defense of that caliber, that is genuine progress for the Chicago Bears offense. Because again, guys, this offense was just so ridiculously bad just a few weeks ago, but now they're putting up 30 plus in back-to-back-to-back games, which I cannot believe this actually happened, okay? Because even though deep down inside of me, I thought that maybe Trubisky could go on a magic run to end the season. I thought that maybe he could, somehow revive his career. That was all based on just implicit bias, okay? That was just based on me being a diehard fan. I did not actually think, being realistic, that Trubisky and the offense would completely turn things around after he came back. But that is exactly what happened, guys, okay? Because make no mistake about it, no matter how much the media people want to hate, no matter how much other people want to hate, the return of Mitch Trubisky has completely changed this offense in every single aspect, okay? It's not even up for debate anymore. It's proven by the facts. It's proven by the play that we're seeing on the field right now, okay? We have not seen these things at all with Nick Foles, okay? Trubisky's ability to extend plays beyond the pocket, that is such an underrated aspect of his game, okay? Because Nick Foles, he was a statue back there, okay? So if we had a poor play call, if we had, a lineman maybe missing a block, that almost always resulted in a sack. But today we saw that the few times the lineman did miss blocks, or maybe the few times, Matt Nagy and Boelena had a dumb play call, Trubisky bailed them out with his legs, okay? Today he only got sacked one time. And yes, I do realize the pass protection was much, much better in every single way than it has been this entire season. So a lot of credit does go to our big boys up front. But some of those plays also, Trubisky was just extending because he has the mobility. He has the ability to escape the pocket and, evade closing in defenders. He has the ability to run away from them and make plays on the ground with his legs. Okay, today he had 34 rushing yards on only 8 carries, so an average of 4.3 yards per carry. But just beyond the total yardage, guys, I mean, Trubisky was key in keeping some drives alive solely with his legs. Okay, we had some design QB runs. We had some RPOs in which Trubisky kept the ball. We had him almost getting into the end zone on a run in the, forgot what half it was. I think it was the first half. He almost got into the end zone on that run. So that was a big run that helped us eventually score. So just using his mobility, using his legs, it helps our offense out so much because it makes life much easier on everybody else. Okay, if your O-line misses a few blocks, you can still get away with it if your quarterback is mobile enough to run away and still pick up the first down with his legs, or maybe throw on the run and get a receiver open down the field. I mean, it opens up so many new things for your offense, which is just not possible with a statue at quarterback. So just solely with his legs, Trubisky is turning around this offense. But even beyond his legs, with his arm, he is also being as accurate as Nick Foles was, and perhaps even more accurate, okay? Because today in this game, he made some big time throws, especially in that first half, okay? That throw, I think it was a 25-yard throw to Allen Robinson down the right sideline. That was a beautiful throw. That was such a dot by Trubisky because he placed it perfectly in A-Rob's hands. Okay, A-Rob did not have to extend for the ball. He did not throw it out of bounds. He put it directly where only A-Rob could catch that ball. And also, guys, that was on 3rd and 3. Okay, Trubisky on 3rd and 3 took a shot down the field and completed it. So these are things that really help you win football games. Okay, if you're able to push the ball down the field beyond 20 yards and be accurate with that ball, especially on like 3rd and short, that can totally change the outcome of a game, okay? Because guys, think if Trubisky had not made that pass, we probably do not score on that drive, and then we don't have the 7 points we got from it, and then we could have potentially lost, okay? I'm not saying that that's how the game would have went on, but guys, this was a shootout, and we had to score practically every other drive. Otherwise, we would not have kept up with the pace of the game. So Trubisky, I mean, throughout the entirety of this game, he really made some big time throws, even on 3rd and long, okay? On 3rd and long, which the Bears have been horrible in the past 2 years, I mean, Trubisky was able to read the defense, go through all his reads, and find the open man and pick up the first down more than once, okay? Because today the Bears were 6 for 12 on 3rd down. On the season, I believe they're only like 30%. So to go 50% today on 3rd down, that is a dramatic improvement, and it shows you like how Trubisky is benefiting from the changes in the play calling, okay? If I read Trubisky's stat line right now, it was pretty great besides that one INT. So he had 202 passing yards, a passer rating of 97.7. Obviously, he had one passing touchdown, which, by the way, guys, that passing touchdown to Darnell Mooney, which he pretty much just lofted the ball over the blitzing linebacker's head. That was a beautiful play by Mitch Trubisky. People are not going to give him credit for that, but I will, because you have to have the right amount of loft on that ball and throw it fast enough to have it get to Darnell Mooney in the first place and to enable him to even score the touchdown there. So that was a great play by Mitch Trubisky. Overall, he was solid in this game. He looked very comfortable. He looked poised in the pocket. He was using his legs also to move beyond the pocket. So overall, a great day for Mitch Trubisky, besides that one interception he threw at the end of the game, which just irks me so much because Like just beyond that one INT. If he did not throw the INT, I would have given him an A+ for today. But that INT was so bad. He had no idea where he was going with that ball. I mean, yeah, Trubisky knew where he was going with that ball, but it was not a good decision to throw that ball where there was another safety right there. That was a bad throw by Trubisky, which could have honestly cost us the game at the end because our defense was not looking that hot today. So that was a dumb play by Mitch Trubisky at the end of the game, but it does not erase all the good stuff he did earlier. Now let's talk about the real star of this game, David freaking Montgomery. Guys, Monty got 32 carries tonight. That was a career high in carries, and obviously when he finally got the high amount of carries, he made good on those carries. He made big stuff happen because he also had the blocking in front of him. So on those 32 carries, David Montgomery rushed for 146 rushing yards, a career high, and also 2 rushing touchdowns. Some of the runs that Monty had today, they just make you think that he is a running back with star potential in this league, okay? Because Monty does not go down easily at all. He's one of the hardest running backs to tackle in the NFL. I think he leads the NFL in broken tackles. And you see what happens when you actually give him the football and give him a chance to make plays with the blocking up front, okay? If the blocking is just adequate, if it's just decent for David Montgomery, he's going to be a star running back in this league because like I mentioned earlier, this dude is so hard to bring down. He has decent speed. He's obviously not the burning guy, but he does have the speed to break some big ones through once in a while. He always fights forward. He never falls easy. He always keeps on pushing forward for extra yards. And having a running back like that in this offense, it is so beneficial because just because of Monty, we scored so many points today. The run game was dominant the entire afternoon, which I love to see from the Chicago Bears. Switching over to the Bears defense then, man, what has happened to our once elite Chicago Bears defense? Like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but today I had way more faith in the Chicago Bears offense than I did the Chicago Bears defense, okay? Because the Bears defense gave up over 400 total yards of offense in this game, okay? Obviously, they got gashed on the ground by Dalvin Cook. They could not figure out a way for the life of them to stop Dalvin Cook on the ground. He had 24 carries, 132 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown as well. Kirk Cousins through the air was pretty prolific as well. He had 271 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He had 1 INT, but obviously that was on that last second Hail Mary. So that INT really does not count. And overall, Cousins had a pretty good day too. So I'm trying to question what has happened. Okay, obviously we had Jalen Johnson being out, which is a big loss for the Bears defense. Okay, because Jalen Johnson has been a superstar for us. But beyond Jalen Johnson, everybody else on the defense was the same. So what is happening to the Bears defense? Because over the past few weeks, they have not been that same dominant Chicago Bears defense. Yeah, they were that same defense against the Texans, but the Texans do not have much talent at all on the offense. Okay, the Texans were missing their top 4 guys on offense. So shutting them out was not that impressive. And the performance they had today was just straight up unacceptable all across the board. Okay, you can't allow this many points when you have a defense this talented. You cannot get gashed on the ground for this many yards when you have a front 7 this talented, okay? And a lot of it just comes down to poor tackling, okay? Poor form on the tackling. We missed a ton of tackles out there in the secondary especially. I mean, Eddie Jackson has been missing a ton of tackles this season. He also missed a couple today. Kyle Fuller took a bad pursuit angle on a touchdown. We had guys just getting left in the dust. We had, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson just doing whatever they wanted this entire afternoon. So it was not a great day at all from a secondary, but also again, our front 7, okay? Our front 7 did have 3 sacks. We had Bilal Nichols being an absolute monster out there. So none of this blame goes to Bilal Nichols because Bilal Nichols played the game of his life, okay? He was big out there the entire afternoon. So no hate to Bilal Nichols. Also no hate to Duke Shelley because, man, Duke Shelley also played a good-ass game, okay? He was out there making a ton of solid tackles. He was hitting the ball carrier super hard, probably trying to cause a fumble or something. So really good power, really good effort from Duke Shelley. I remember on 3rd and 8, I think it was, Kirk Cousins was scrambling for the first down, but because of a big hit late by Duke Shelley, Kirk Cousins was not able to pick up that first down. And that was a big play made in that game because right after that, on 4th and 1, on their own side of the field, the Vikings chose to go for it, which I cannot explain why. That was a very dumb play call by the Vikings, but they went for it on their own side of the football field, and Bilal Nichols and Jenkins came up big with the stop on Dalvin Cook. So we got the football on their side of the field, and we got an easy field goal out of that. So that entire play only happened, though, because Duke Shelley made a big play on Cousins earlier. So, I mean, Duke Shelley, Bilal Nichols, great games from them. Jenkins was pretty solid, too. I mean, Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, they were good here and there. Obviously, Robert Quinn caused a fumble, which they recovered that, but that was a good play by Robert Quinn, finally showing up on the stat sheet. I think Khalil Mack had half a sack. So the pass rush was there for the majority of this game, but the linebackers and the secondary, they were not there at all. Okay, I think Roquan Smith did have a few decent plays, but Danny Trevathan looked lost out there in coverage. We had our cornerbacks obviously not really doing much of anything besides the tackling. We had our safeties kind of getting lost here and there too. So not a good game at all from our defense. I hope they do improve somehow, but I do have to say they did make big plays at the end of the game to bail our team out after Trubisky threw that terrible interception. Okay, I thought after that interception, we might have lost that game because our defense was bad that entire afternoon, but right after the INT, our defense bailed our offense out by getting a 4-and-out stop on Kirk Cousins. Okay, obviously they were great on downs 1 to 3, but on 4th down, they brought the heat at Kirk Cousins, and that was a dumb play call, first of all, by the Minnesota Vikings, but they chose to pass the ball, and Cousins had nowhere to go, so obviously that ball fell incomplete, and we got another field goal out of that. And also, you know, at the end of this game, they came up big on that last Hail Mary drive. Okay, when the ball was tipped up in the air, first of all, my heart completely stopped for a few seconds because I thought they were going to catch that for a game-winning touchdown. But Eddie Jackson came up with that ball for the game-sealing INT, and we ended up winning that game. So obviously, not really a great day at all from our defense. They looked poor the majority of today, but they did make some key stops when it mattered the most. And finally, the last person I want to talk about is kicker Cairo Santos, because my God, man, this guy is kicking like the best kicker in the NFL. He deserves to 100% make the Pro Bowl, the All-Pro team, whatever team he wants to make, because this guy has been straight money for us over the past few months. He missed a couple kicks at the beginning of his Bears career, but besides those kicks, he's made, I think, how many straight? I think it was 19 straight field goals. I'll have to look that up. I'll put it on the screen right now, but I think he made 19 straight field goals for the Chicago Bears. You talk about being a reliable kicker. I mean, I don't even look at the TV anymore when we attempt a field goal because I already know it's gonna go in. That's how much confidence I have in a Chicago Bears kicker, which I have not been able to say at all for this team since Robbie Gould. So huge shout out to Cairo Santos, man. He's an absolute beast, an absolute legend. I'm so happy the Bears decided to sign him because he was the steal of free agency for the Chicago Bears. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up my video. I cannot believe the Chicago Bears are still in the playoff hunt. We are still playing meaningful football in December, which is just so enjoyable as a Chicago Bears fan, because as a Bears fan throughout my life, I have not experienced the playoffs that many times at all. I've only seen playoff football in Chicago maybe like 4 or 5 times, and half those times I was too little to even understand the game. So if the Bears can win the next 2 games, which the game against the Jaguars should be pretty easy, but the game against the Packers, that's going to be really hard. If we can somehow beat those 2 teams, which I definitely think we have a chance to, given how great we're playing right now, we have a shot at being in the playoffs this year as that last wildcard team, which would be so exciting for all Chicago Bears fans because, guys, we were on a 6-game losing streak in this very same year, but we have completely turned things around. So let me know what you guys think about this win in the comments down below. Sleep well, Chicago. As always, bear down.